Hello, my name is Michael Bray. This is week 2 assignment for the IKEA Bayesian analysis. For the promotional event for IKEA, taking into account the male to female ratio in rural India is 949 females to every 1,000 males, which equates to roughly 48%, according to the Statistics Times. In conducting an analysis of a market event that would introduce consumers or customers to the new idea of building an IKEA in rural India, the analysis would help identify how well the IKEA might perform based on surveyed questions. The sample size will be the exact same amount total that happened in High Tech City prior to their opening. The end result is to assimilate the opening of the IKEA in the Maharashtra and try to project the success that can be expected based on consumer likelihood. Doing this would require having potential rental booths at an outdoor event or a gathering where there's a good amount of population and surveys can be handed out. With the surveys and the random sample size, or a sample size random selection for giveaways, trips to Hawaii, for instance, can be accommodated. When targeting the customers, the customer pool is with the population that is likely to buy ready-to-assemble furniture. That's the ideal group that we'd like to go after with IKEA. Emphasizing their marketing efforts within a group of people that view purchasing ready-to-assemble furniture advice the population may need more swaying or convincing to choose IKEA's brand is not warranted. As you can see on the right-hand side, the categories that are broken out in the table are the likeliness to buy ready-to-assemble furniture. These would be on the survey cards. The sample size here shows the male and female population for each category with a total of 974 sampled and the total of each category combined male and female. Conducting rural India marketing in their neighborhoods, the neighborhoods within Maharashtra, Go Rural, which is a marketing company that provides marketing opportunities in rural India for a variety of events, is a good example of how to identify a target customer base. As I stated previously, we'd like to do something of an outdoor event which is going to attract a lot of people. Something that is secondary to the reason you're actually there. For example, a 5K run, which are highly popular in rural India, are currently marketed as an option for marketing in the Go Rural for the online company. They attract fit people, and while the ideal customers are not required to be fit by any means for IKEA, having the ability to use common hand tools is warranted in the ready-to-assemble furniture business. Attending the promotional event will require purchasing a booth to rent out, which allows us to provide likeliness rating cards, as previously stated. The cost for booth rentals at 5K races can range between $300 and $800 depending on the race. This promotional event is relatively inexpensive in larger terms compared to many other kinds of promotional events. The cost of this event will be a huge payoff when it comes to decide our pricing model for the rural area as well as the amount of stock to have on hand within IKEA. Factoring into account would be the Hawaii trip expenses as well. Selected sampling. Provided here is the probability of a customer being a woman is identified as shown here, as well as in the figure. So on the left I have the figure, on the right I have the equation. Secondarily, I have the probability that the potential customer is very likely to buy furniture and is a woman is shown here with the formula at the bottom. So as you can see, there's a slight increase in the probability over a general customer being a woman instead of a person being very likely to purchase furniture that is a woman. Factors that might enter the discrepancy could be that a closer ratio of very likely women to men than there's an overall ration of women to men. For lottery analysis, the chances for each category to win a random trip to Hawaii within the sampling are depicted on the right of the table. This was conducted using the likeliness total divided by the total sample. For example, the chances that a neutral customer would be selected would be 170 divided by 974, which equals 0.17 or 17%, as you can see in the middle of the table listed here, any chance that the selection would be deemed fair or unfair would be identifying the risk of who wouldn't be ideal to be selected. So in this case, someone that is unlikely or very unlikely to buy IKEA furniture could skew the polling data if human nature weren't entered or human error. If someone from IKEA were to see one of these choices on the selection, that could hinder the results tremendously. Probably the most effective method researchers use to prevent sampling bias is through simple random sampling, where samples are selected strictly by chance. This is what we would do to avoid any factors, is on the survey cards, we would number them 1 through 974. That's the total number of sampled. From there, a simple random sample can be applied with a random number generator. A random number generator is usually a computer program that allows computer calculated output to yield the random number. Therefore, that's how we would select our winner for the trip to Hawaii with no the Bayesian analysis. In IKEA in High Tech City in Telangana, they performed a marketing event at a race prior to the grand opening. They polled 974 people with survey cards. For the Maharashtra planned IKEA, the same exact number of survey cards are going to be used and handed out in order to keep the structure the same and allow all the categories to change independently based on customer responses. So event B is the old event of IKEA marketing event in the high-tech city. That's also pictured on the right-hand side. You've seen event A on the previous slides on the table that was made. Performing the Bayesian analysis on the categories of very likely, likely, and neutral is being a part of the total population sampled in event A and event B. So the concept here is to focus on the group of people that IKEA would like to market to in the future moving forward. And the idea is to identify if there's a potential for success there. So therefore, we would not take into account unlikely or very unlikely, because we would spend resources on two categories of people that have already told us they probably wouldn't buy our furniture anyway. So we're going to focus on the neutral, which can be potentially swayed, likely, which is a likely to buy it, and very likely, which is expansion recommendation. Based on the data derived from both samplings, the first one from an IKEA in an urban area and the second one from an event held in the rural area of India, I recommend expanding domestically within India. The results of likeliness to purchase from IKEA for a group of people, male or female, show better in the most recent promotional event. With the exact same amount of people polled from a very similar promotional event, the results state the probability increases by 2% chance of someone being very likely, or neutral on purchasing furniture from IKEA, all of which are in the demographic the company would expend resources on further marketing. Thank you very much.